speak from the platform of Bhakti Yoga, and all the information that I will present is based on the teaching of the Vedic scriptures, the most ancient scriptures, written down 5,000 years ago. But because this is eternal knowledge, it has been passed down orally since time immemorable, through a line of perfect teachers, perfect masters. Therefore, it remains pure as it comes through pure mediums. This line or lineage is known as a disciplic succession or parampara. Parampara is necessary for the truth to remain pure. And that is often a difficult situation, because no matter how pure the speaker, if it passes through impure mediums, it loses its purity. So we are always very grateful that we are in the parampara known as the Brahma Sampradaya. And we receive our knowledge through this lineage. So it's never my opinion. I don't give my opinions. I just pass on this eternal science. So this Vedic teaching actually begins with the instruction, really. We are instructed we should begin to ask seriously the question, who am I? We should ask ourselves this question, who am I? Unfortunately, we don't do that. Because we think we already know the answer. You see, we've all got our identities. We've had them our whole life. We have them in our minds, we have them on our lips, we even carry them around in our pockets. Meaning, this is who I think I am, this is who I tell others I am, and I prove it, here's my passport, here's my documents. We accept this, and so does everybody else. But is this our true identity? And upon close examination, we discover this is nothing but a compilation of many labels. And the labeling process begins at birth. So everyone here, as soon as we took birth, we received one of two labels, male or female. Also at that same time, we got another label according to our race, Caucasian, Negroid, whatever it is. Of course, our national identity, very strong. I am Canadian, I'm American. And our family identities, we belong to this family. And unfortunately, this identity is so strong that every day on this planet, one person kills another person simply because they got a different label. And this is just the beginning. Many labels come and go throughout our entire life. So once again, at birth, we're also known as babies. Then kids. We start school. Now we're students. A few more years go by, we become teenagers, and then finally adults. We take up some profession in life, and we're known accordingly. Doctors, lawyers, secretaries, nurses. We get married. Immediately we're a husband or a wife. We have a child. Now we're parents, fathers, mothers. A few more years roll by, grandfathers, grandmothers. And this is how we see ourselves, you see. This is me. This is who I am. And this continues on and on until we finally get the last label, dead. But looking closely, we see this is all in relation to our material bodies. It's true the body is male or female, black or white, old or young, big or little. Whatever the body is, it is. Yes, that is true. But the question is this who we are? Every day we all take our pilgrimage to the mirror to see how we look. Anybody didn't look in the mirror today? Very rare do I get a hand. But do we really see ourselves, you see? When we look in that mirror, and many times we're a little bit disappointed, aren't we? But I notice we always come back the next day. Maybe there's been some improvement. But do we really see ourselves? So the question's obvious. Am I this material body? Now, if we want the most authoritative answer, we should go to the revealed scriptures of the world. And there we quickly learn, no, you're not the material body. But this is the modern world. Very rare does anyone go to scripture to find the truth in life. However, we do readily accept the conclusion of the scientists. Oh, we like the scientists because they prove things. Well, uniquely enough, in this case, the scientists have proven in the laboratory that we're not our material bodies. They discovered there's no cell in the human body that lives more than 5 years. And some cells have a very short life. For instance, the lining of the stomach, those cells live 5 days. Skin cells, 1 month. Liver cells, 6 weeks, etc. But in 5 years, everything has changed. So if I'm looking at a photograph of myself taken 10 years ago, the eyes in the photograph are actually different than the eyes I'm looking at the photograph with. They're not the same eyes. According to this scientific formula, if I'm 35 years old, I've had 7 bodies. But of course, we all know we're not 7 different people. Everybody knows, hey, I'm still me. So the changing factor is the material body, but the constant factor is ourself. We are not these material bodies. Now at this point, some people, not many, but some may become a little introspective, meditative. Maybe they begin to look inside to find out who they really are. And when we do look inside, what do we find? Oh, there's emotion, desire, sentiment, feeling, will. And of course, these are very real, and it's easy to conclude, yes, this is who I really am. But we must confirm this with Scripture, and especially the Vedic Scriptures, because they're very detailed in this knowledge. And when we do, we find we've made another mistake. This is not who we are either. This is actually another material body. It's called the subtle mental body. Sometimes it's called the astral body. I'm sure some of you have heard of the astral body, right? So really we have 2 bodies. We've got our physical body and we have our mental body. It's just like having on 2 layers of clothing. We have our outer layer and then we have the underlayer. But the question is still remaining, isn't it? Okay, but who am I? So once again, we go to the Vedas. And there we learn that we are in a different category of energy. Now, everything is energy. We learned that our material bodies are material energy, you see. However, we learned that we are spiritual energy. A tiny little spark of spiritual energy. We also learn material energy is temporary. That's easy to see. We know all too well our bodies are very temporary. So much so we don't even want to talk about it. Hey, don't talk about that, see. But even the more permanent things, well, like this building, come back here in 1,000 years. Gee, where was that little retreat? Very temporary. However, we learn that spirit is eternal. Now, eternal means no beginning and no end. Therefore, we are eternal. We also learn that material energy is non-living. And that's easy to see. This couch or this microphone, there's no life. However, we learn that spirit is life itself. There's no such thing as live matter. And there's no such thing as dead spirit. We are the life force in the body. And as long as we're present in the body is called alive. But actually, this is not true. The body's dead. We are alive. And that becomes very obvious at the time of death. At the time of death, we leave the body. And at that moment, the body reveals its true nature. Can't even sit in a chair. See, it falls on the floor. Yes, we are the life force in the body. Therefore, our true identity is spirit soul. Spirit meaning we're spiritual in essence. Soul meaning this individual spiritual spark that we eternally are. We never become someone else, and we never cease to exist. Now, for some people, this is very depressing news. What? I'll always be me? Gee, I thought it was going to be over soon. Sorry. Never over. However, when we learn the truth in life, this becomes very wonderful news. So once again, we are spirit soul, and we further learn we are a part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. There is a Supreme Soul from which we all come. We are known as the Atma, and the Supreme Soul is the Paramatma. Now, understanding our true identity, then we can begin to discuss our subject matter today. Where do we go at the time of death? Mm-hmm. So bear in mind throughout this presentation, we meaning the eternal spirit soul that we are. I never become someone else. Also, it must be understood, and it's obvious, if I'm eternal and the body's temporary, which we all know it is, and I leave the body, which is inevitable, then I got to go somewhere. I can't just cease to be. Mm-hmm. You know, we study mainly the scripture Bhagavad Gita in the Bhakti Yoga process. Mm-hmm. And in there, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna makes some very definite statements in this regard. Number one, about the temporary nature of the body, he says, for one who takes his birth, death is certain. And for one who dies, birth is certain. Very clear. We've all taken birth, right? Meaning we've entered this body. That's what birth as we know it is called. When the soul enters the body, we refer to that as birth. And when we leave that body, that's referred to as death. You see. So again, Lord Sri Krishna says, for one who is born, death is certain. It's unavoidable. And for one who dies, birth is certain. So this is reality. There's no need to whitewash anything when you're trying to learn the truth. See, many people like to sugarcoat the truth to make it more palatable. Oh, let's don't talk about that part. Let's leave out this part, and let's don't go there, and you know. But that's not Vedic teaching. See, that's not the Bhakti Yoga system. The Bhakti Yoga system, we should know the truth. Holy Bible confirms the same thing. What does it say there? Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Free from what? Free from illusion, free from ignorance, free from misconceptions. We need to know the truth. So therefore, if we approach the truth with a desire to just tell me as it is, see, then we'll get what we need to know. But if I go in there like this, I don't want to hear that. Don't say that. What do I get? Not much. You say, what's comfortable? Ooh. We're not supposed to look for comfort. We're supposed to look for freedom from all discomfort. So, that will only come from the truth. So again, we're spirit, soul, and a temporary material body. We change bodies continuously, like I just presented. Every 5 years, we got a new one. So it's nothing new, see. Again, Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna states, as the soul continually passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, in the same way the soul passes into another body at the time of death. But he adds, but a self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. He understands the story. He understands exactly the truth, what's going on, how everything is designed in this material world. Is a supreme design here, and everything is working according to that design. We can't change that. We can't stop that. We can't wish it away. You know, time is reality. It passes. It clicks. It tick, 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 tick. And it takes its toll, doesn't it? Everything is temporary. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, of subduers I am eternal time. You see, everything and everyone is subdued by time. So people try to stop the clock. Good luck. See, we're trying to do that which is impossible. We're trying not to die. Impossible. What do most people do in their life? They spend their whole life trying not to die. You see? Oh, I got to eat. If I don't, I'll die. Oh, I must do this. If I don't, I'll die. Oh, I'm afraid of high places. Why? Because if I fall off, I'll die. See? Why do we look this way and this way when we cross streets? Because I might die. You see? Oh, I don't want to get cancer. Why? Because it'll kill me. We're always trying not to die. I got to make money because if I don't have money, I'll die. So we spend our whole life trying not to die and we die. We lost. But a wise person hears from the very beginning. For one who takes birth, death is certain. Oh, all right. No surprises, you see. And of course we know that because we see everybody else dying around, but somehow we think, but I won't die. At least not now. Maybe later, yeah, sure, sometime, but now, no. Every day a lot of people died that didn't think they were going to die now. The body is very fragile and very temporary. So a wise person wants to know all these things and embrace this, not be afraid of it, not let's don't talk about it, it's let's do talk about it. Let's hear about these things. So death is the most fearful event in a person's, quote, life. What do we call our life? It's the time between when we enter the body and we leave the body. See, that's what we call our life. If we stay in the body a very short time, say 1 year, oh, he had a very short life. If we stay in the body 90 years, oh, we had a very long life. See? But really, our life is our eternal existence. And these bodies that we circulate through are just temporary stopovers. Right now, we're in these bodies. See? And according to, how long we've been in them, we have a certain age, right? Oh, I'm 15, I'm 25, I'm 50, I'm 70, No, we're eternal. But I've been in the body for 70 years or 60 or 20 or whatever it is. See? We start getting things in perspective when we know the truth. Otherwise, we're just in some illusion. I'm not 70 years old. I'm eternal. We have to start thinking on the eternal truth scale, see, and give up all this temporary philosophy of life because it doesn't serve us well. It doesn't produce any good results, So we come to the end of the time we are destined to be in this particular body, you see. And then we leave that body under whatever reason it may be. See, it could be, an accident, it could be disease, could be old age, whatever. See, time is up, time is up. We have to go. We learned that very quickly in our Vedic study. We're destined to be in the body a certain length of time, and then we move on. See. Now, what we do during this period of time when we're in this body will determine where we go after we leave the body. If we stay in the material world, and this is the case for almost everybody nowadays, that means we have to enter into another material body. And there's a lot of different varieties of bodies, aren't there? According to the Vedic teaching, there's 8,400,000 species of life. So we've got a lot of different places we can go. See? It could be human. It could be animals. It could be insects, reptiles. birds, aquatics, plants. Everywhere there's life, there's a person who took birth in that particular body. When the person leaves that body, then the body's called dead. And wherever the soul is in a body, there's a lot of activity going on because the soul is active by nature. Even in trees. People don't see it like this, but really, the reason there's all this activity in a seemingly immovable object, a tree, but we know from school, right, from biology and botany and all of our, science courses, there's all kinds of activity in a tree. Nutrition comes out of the ground, see, and sap is rising, and photosynthesis takes place at the leaves, and flowers are produced, or fruit is produced, or whatever the tree is. It has its offspring, so to speak, its production. And it goes on because there's a soul in the body. But when the soul leaves the tree body, none of those things take place, right? And very quickly the tree withers and dies and falls down and goes back into the soil. See, the soul was keeping it alive because the soul is life, and then that soul went somewhere else and inhabits another body and gives it life. And that's how it really works, Reincarnation is true. It's a reality. Whether people accept it or don't accept it. See, the truth is not dependent on our acceptance of it or rejection of it, believing it or disbelieving it. It's eternally true. And all we can do at best is know it and accept it, you see. My denying it doesn't change anything. So reincarnation is an absolute reality in the material world. The soul is transmigrating from one body to another, like I just quoted Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. As the soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, in the same way the soul passes into another body at the time of death. But a self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change because he understands it. He knows what's going on. See? So when we leave our body, which is called death, you see, we go to another place, residence. If we have done what we should have done with the human form of life, we will be spiritually purified by our life's activities. Engaging in these purifying processes taught by the Vedic scriptures, taught by the realized spiritual masters, guided in our execution of those activities, purified of our illusions, purified of our karma, etc., and not only purified, but also along the way have, as part of the process, developed a relationship with the Supreme Lord. See, now that relationship is real. It's not some imaginary thing. It's a person-to-person relationship, just like our relationship in this world are person-to-person relationships. And it has evolved to a stage of love. See, it's not just, kind of an unfamiliar relationship. It is a very intimate relationship. And therefore, it makes it possible for me to go back to the spiritual world, the spiritual dimension, which is all of our original home. The soul's original place is in the spiritual world. See, the material world is not our real home. It's our temporary home. And that's why it never feels quite right. We're always trying to make everything comfortable, but it's not. See, the whole idea of death is uncomfortable. See, we want to make it comfortable, so let's don't talk about that. We want to make our material situation in the time that we have, as comfortable as possible. See, for the body, of course. So we spent lifetimes and lifetimes trying to arrange our life so we'll be comfortable here, but we're not. You see. And comfort is not only physical comfort, as we all know. It also means mental comfort, psychic comfort. you see, emotional comfort. And even though I may have arranged it externally, so I'm very comfortable, as far as the material external body goes, I've got all the amenities I need. I'm very comfortable in my situation, whatever. Doesn't mean I'm comfortable inside. That doesn't mean I'm free of anxiety. Doesn't mean I'm free of depression. You see, it doesn't mean I'm, feeling safe and secure. See? Doesn't mean I'm feeling happy. Doesn't mean I'm free of fear. You see? And death is always lurking. Like that boogeyman in the dark. He's there, but I don't want to think about it. It's described in the Vedas very clearly. Death is the most fearful time for the unknowledgeable, for those who aren't prepared for it, you see. So what determines what bodies we get? Like I say, 8,400,000. You just random kind of thing. You just get thrown out there somewhere and just bloop, land in a squirrel body. Or is there some design in place? You see, is it like the lottery? I win it. Is there a higher intelligence deciding this lifetime you're going to be a squirrel or a dog or a cat or a human or a fish or whatever, you see? How does it all work? We need to know all this stuff, you see? So really there's three things that control reincarnation, you see? Material desire, material attachment, and karma. These three factors are at play. And they are the deciding factors in where do I go? Now, we've established that we are spirit souls. And we also have to understand that the soul by nature has certain inherent characteristics. These characteristics are always present with all souls. It's not like some have them and some don't. Like all water is wet. It's not like some water's dry and some water's wet. See, it's an inherent characteristic of water. Wetness. You can't separate wetness from water. You can't separate heat and light from fire. In the same way, you cannot separate these inherent characteristics from the soul. One of those inherent characteristics of all souls is desire. See? We all have desires because that's the nature of the soul. It's not going to cease. Some people say, oh, you must become free of all desire. See? You can't do it. It's impossible. See? This is just some fantasy. See? That's why the guys who are trying to be free of desire are struggling with their desires. Don't have a desire, but I do. I desire not to have a desire. That's a desire, my friend. Ooh. What do I do now? You see, just accept, okay, desires going to be there. And if my desires are material desires, then they keep us in the material world, you see. And as we pursue our desires, we set our course in life, really. What we're trying to do always is satisfy our desires. And they just lead us wherever we go. Why are you here today? Because you had a desire to come. You received an invitation. Oh, I want to go there. That's a desire. And it brought you to this room. See? A lot of other people didn't come. They have other desires. It took them to the mall, or it took them to a restaurant, or wherever it took them. Who knows? You see? And as we pursue one desire, other desires appear. And we pursue them, and other desires appear, and on it goes. It's like a never-ending story, you see. That's why, you can't satisfy all desires. What do they call it? The bucket list? Oh, this is my bucket list. You see? But the bucket just keeps getting bigger. It used to be a little bucket. Now it's a bigger bucket. Now it's a 55-gallon drum, and you're just dragging it around, and you knock off 3 on the top, and there's 20 on the bottom. My bucket list is to travel around the world. And as you travel around the world, wow, I want to do this, I want to stay here, and I want to do this, and I met this girl, and this thing happened, and, I'm now attached to scuba diving and climbing. Wow, I just wanted to travel around the world, man. I didn't expect all this, ruined. Yeah, that's how it works, you see. That's just how it works. So, what happens when we die, meaning when we leave our body? When that moment comes and we do leave the body, all we leave behind is the gross physical body. That's the one that they bury in the ground or burn or whatever they do with it, you see. But we're still covered by the subtle material body, you see. Still there. We didn't leave that behind. It's going, that's the body of desire. And that takes us into our next life. Now, according to our desires, our psychic body, our subtle mental body, has a certain shape. And according to the shape of that body, our next physical body will fit that shape. It's like a hand has a certain shape, and a glove is designed to fit the shape of the hand. See? In the same way, the physical body is designed to fit the shape of the mental body. That's why, as we have our desires and are cultivating our desires, our mental body is taking a certain shape. See? Some people are one way, some people another way, and so on. An example is the hang glider. Everybody knows the sport, right? Hang gliding, where you climb up to a high place, put a mechanical wing on your back, jump off, and hope for the best. If it works, it's great. Oh, amazing views, feeling of freedom. You're riding the air currents. Wow, so wonderful. See? And from that moment, you never look at a bird in the same way again. You're always looking at birds, how they take off, how they land, how they ride the air currents. You see? And of course, you realize very quickly they do this much better than I do. And there's one thing that you always have that they never have, and that's fear. See, how many birds you ever see crash? They just go here, go there. But if something goes wrong, ooh, I got a big problem, see? So some of these guys, they're so into this, that they start talking about what bird they like to be. And of course, they all want to be eagles. Nobody says, yeah, I want to be a crow. So, next life, no problem. They come to the end of their life. That's their desire. Next lifetime, they peck their way out of a shell. Their body's covered with feathers, and they fly their whole life. You see? As man proposes, God disposes. We get what we want. So material desire, number one factor, keeps us on the wheel of birth and death, and has a large influence on where we go in our next life. Second factor is material attachment. See? Now, it's also the nature of the soul to be attached. That's why we get attached so quickly. See? And again, that person who says, oh, you must become free of all attachment. He's attached to his non-attachment. Attachment is going to be there, you see. And this material attachment keeps us on the wheel of birth and death. It's like ropes that binds us to the wheel, you see. Or like anchors that hold us down in the material world. And of course, as we know, there's different kinds of attachment. You see, we can be attached to things, houses, cars, money, positions, whatever. And they can be strong. But we know the really strong attachments are personal attachments. See? For instance, let's say that you have a new car, and you like your car, you're attached. One day you come out from work and you discover somebody stole your car. Ooh, because of your attachment immediately, you're angry, you're frustrated. My car, see? But hey, it's just a car. You can buy another one. You got insurance, they'll pay for it, see? But if you go home at night and find that somebody stole your wife, that's another whole story. Of course, some people might say, oh, thank you very much. I know one old man who told me, I've been waiting 55 years for somebody to run off with my wife, and they never did. And they never did. He never made it, you see. He died first. You see. Yeah, material attachments. There's a young soldier getting ready to go into a very dangerous battle. See? He knows he might not come back. So he takes the picture of his girlfriend from his pocket, looks at it, feels the strong attachment, goes into battle and gets killed. Keeps him on the wheel of birth and death. Material attachment, factor number 2. And third factor is karma. See, I know everybody here has heard the word karma. Some of you may know a little bit about karma. But really, karma means action. And the soul is active by nature, another characteristic. Wherever you find the soul, you find activity, like in the tree. See? So, according to the law of karma, if the activity that we perform affect the life of another living entity in a negative way, and note I say living entity here, not just humans, any life form. If I affect the life of another living entity in a negative way, I cause them some pain, suffering, hardship, death. I'm responsible for that, and I will be punished for that. See? So in the future, coming back to me will be pain, suffering, hardship, death. As you sow, so shall you reap. What goes around, comes around. Everything you do will come back on you. This is the law of karma. It's a natural law. Knowing it or not knowing it doesn't change anything. We're all controlled by the law of karma. So bad action, bad results, bad karma. But if the activity I perform, affects another living entity in a positive way, I somehow make their material situation a little better. I take care of a sick person, I feed a hungry animal, I do charity work, welfare work, whatever. See, that's a good thing. So I'll be rewarded for that in the future. See, good action, good results. Good things will come back to me. See? So we go through our whole life creating karma, some good, some bad. And we come to the end of our life with our karmic picture. And that goes with us into our next life. When we leave the physical body behind, we don't leave the karma behind. Karma goes with us into our next life. We take our next birth very much dependent on our karma. See? So our desires, our attachments, our karma make it so we go wherever we go. We're now deciding by our life's activities what our next life will be. Where will I go? So we are doing the whole thing. See? That's why, considering karma, that's why the world seems such an unjust place, Like, it's not fair. Some people are born wealthy, some people are born destitute, some people are born beautiful, some people are born ugly, some are born so healthy and strong, some people are born greatly handicapped, some are so clever mentally, high level of intelligence, others are born mentally impaired, and on it goes. You see, some are born in one nice family, loving mother and father, and so on, and another's born into, domestic hell. And on, the inequality just at birth. And people say, why? I don't understand. Why is it like this? Because of our karma. We are getting what we sowed. We are reaping what we sowed. See? We created. Don't blame anybody but ourselves. See? and all these inequalities. And it doesn't end at birth. That's just the beginning. And then it just goes throughout the entire term in this body. You see, why it is all of a sudden everything goes bad. Everything was going so good. Everything was just like I arranged it. I was happy and peaceful, and I'd worked so hard to get it like this, and then, boom, upside down. Financially destitute, or the one I was, putting my whole life's, love and trust into, left me or died or whatever. A hurricane came and destroyed everything I'd worked for. A forest fire came through, like in California last year. The whole town of Paradise just burned up. Doesn't exist anymore. People worked hard. They deranged their life. They were there. They were, maybe comfortable there. Boom, like that. No more. Paradise. It wasn't paradise. Wrong name. It happens all the time. Who can deny it? Nobody can deny these things. The reverses in life come, or the good things come. I'm poor, I don't have anything, all of a sudden I win the lottery. Ooh, see? Oh, that's the good karma coming, Or I was sickly all my life, and then something happened and I'm healthy, Or I never had a friend, and now I've got the most wonderful person in my life. The good things come too. It's not only one way. Good to bad, bad to good. And it's always, you don't know what tomorrow will bring, you see. And then we come to the end of our life. We've worked off a lot of karma, some good, some bad. People think usually working off karma. Oh yeah, I was sick and this happened. And so at least I worked off a lot of that karma, you see. But all the good things, we worked off that karma too. We're using up the good karma as well. Okay? And we come to the end of our life, and that karma's been what it was. It made it so we lasted a certain length of time in this body, and this event happened. But don't forget, all the while we were creating more karma. We were active the whole while, creating more and more karma, And there we go, next lifetime, there we are, wherever we are, in an animal body, a plant body, a human body in a very difficult situation, or a human body in a good situation, whatever. Right? Could be anything. So attachments, desires, karma, that's the whole story. Where do we go? We're deciding that right now. Don't blame God. See, people always want to blame God for everything. Oh, you did this, you do that. I'm suffering so much, it's your fault. You see, nobody wants to take responsibility for their own doings. We're like that. Blame somebody else. Oh, it's my parents' fault. It's God's fault. It's, society's fault. It's everybody's fault but mine. Okay? But reality is, it's our fault. Now, we're taught in the Vedic system, the Vedic teachings, that all these things could be considered when you're deciding what you're going to do with your life. You're making life choices. Consider this, you see. Consider what's going to happen if you do this or you don't do this. See? You've got a big responsibility for yourself. See? And of course, what we do affects the life of other people too. And if I'm affecting other people's lives, like I say, the karma of, causing pain and suffering, all these things, misleading people is also included. So if I'm leading people in a wrong direction of life, you see, I'm responsible for that too. See, that's going to come back as well. It's not like we're free and I can do whatever I want. It doesn't matter, you see. It's not true. Some people really embrace the idea that we only have one life, that we are our material body. We're not eternal spirit souls. I'm just me, this physical body, and when it's over, it's over, and I don't have to worry about the future. That's why they don't like, whatever faith system one might follow, because they talk about sin and they talk about punishments and they talk about you should do good. And I don't want to deal with all that stuff. I just want to enjoy, man. I just want to have a good time. I just want to enjoy my senses. I just want to do what I want to do. I want to have the freedom to do that. I don't want anybody telling me what to do and not. So the philosophy of I'm the body, one lifetime, live it to the fullest, enjoy it to the end. Great. It's very comfortable. See? The living it is not so comfortable, but the philosophy is quite relaxing. I don't have to worry about bad and good, because what? There's nobody out there waiting for me. I remember when I was growing up, I grew up in North Carolina. Country music was very prominent, and there was this one country music song. I want to live fast, love hard, and die young, and leave a beautiful memory. And I want to live fast, love hard, die young. And that's the philosophy, that this songwriter and many other people have. Oh, you only have one lifetime, live it to the fullest. See, enjoy it to the end. See, and if you got to step on people to enjoy, well, that's just the way the world is, Step on whoever you need to, But you never feel good about that because the soul is still the soul. The soul by nature is pure. The soul by nature, is righteous. The soul by nature does good things. So when we're doing all the things we shouldn't be doing, walking over people and, all the bad things, evil things, we're wrecked with jealousy and anger. It doesn't feel good. It feels terrible, you see. But, we're just oftentimes so covered with our philosophy of ignorance that we just think, well, it's fine, Cover up the bad feelings with a new philosophy. Don't feel guilty to do anything you want, or cover it up with alcohol. You feel bad inside, just cover it up with alcohol or drugs. Now the pharmaceutical companies have a drug for everything, little anxiety, little depression, frustration, or big depression, anxiety, whatever, just increase the dose. If it's little, take a little. If it's big, take a lot. You see? And you can feel good. Don't worry about it. Can't sleep, take pills. Can't get up, take pills. See? And then the street merchants, you see, the pharmaceutical guys of the street. They just cook up some new batch, and they'll take you to a place you've never been before. You see? Takes a lot of people to the morgue. Yeah. What was it in 2017 in America? 72,000 people died of drug overdose. 72,000. 48,000 of those drug overdoses were opioids. Where'd the opioids come from? Pharmaceutical companies. To solve your pain. You got some pain, just take this. You see? To solve the pain, all they do is just create more pain. Mm-hmm. It's crazy stuff because we're operating on a system that doesn't work. We're operating on an educational system that is based on ignorance. You see? And therefore, how can we expect any good results? You cannot. You cannot. You see? So where we go when we die is completely dependent on what we do in this life. And be in no illusion that once you reach a human form, or you just are humans, you didn't come from a lower form to the human form. That's a person who accepts, the evolution of the soul from lower to higher forms of life. But most people think humans are humans, and that's the end. So even if there is reincarnation, you always take birth as a human. Because humans are the only ones that have souls. Very few people consider that animals have souls. And certainly the plants don't. You see? A person that has a dog and loves the dog and the person have this intimate relationship, still, if you ask them philosophically, is this a person? They go, oh, not really. It's just the dog I love and who loves me. But dogs don't love. Souls love. You see? It's no such thing. Toy dog. Why don't you just get a toy dog? Wind him up, put new batteries in him once a week. He doesn't even eat. Just a couple of batteries a week. He doesn't get sick. No veterinarian fees. He doesn't bite. You don't have to put him on a leash. He doesn't poo, unless you get a advanced model. Then you can just walk around behind your toy dog with your plastic bag and just pick up the poo, and makes you think you're doing something. See, we don't do those things because we know love is what we need, and love is only in living entities. See? And that living entity is a person just like you. He's not like a dog soul, dog heaven. Come on. Oh, there's a whole heaven for dogs, and a cat heaven. They never mix because they chase each other. Right? It wouldn't be heaven. The cat would be afraid of the dog. So you got dog heaven, cat heaven, hamster heaven, parakeet heaven, all. This is just fabricated illusions, wishful thinking. None of it's true. See, it's just a pipe dream. People have been on the pipe too long. So that's why we need to know the truth. You see, you go where you go. The Vedic system is very, very clear. You now, in the human form of life, have an opportunity to make a very, very crucial choice in your life. To live your life from whenever you come to this realization of pursuing this truth, to the end of your life, dedicate your life to becoming realized in all of these truths. Dedicating your life to knowing who you are. You are a spirit soul. You're not your material body. You're not your mind. What are you supposed to do with the human body? Study the truth. Why do we have this intelligence? And why do we have this amazing mind? To destroy the planet like we're doing now? No. Spiritual realization. This is the purpose of the human form of life. See? If you use the human form of life for this purpose, then you can become advanced in truth. Even if you don't make it in this lifetime, it guarantees you'll take another human birth to continue. You won't lose what you've gained this time. You'll take another human birth and you'll have the inclination to begin and continue. And if you don't make it that time, it's so on and so on. Until ultimately you will come to a level of pure love for God. That is the perfection of life. Everybody knows, everybody knows love is the perfection of life, but love for God is the perfection of life. Love for each other, what we call love is not love. That's another subject. I can't go there. Sorry. Not this time. Next time, come back. Probably never see you again, but if you decide to be brave enough to come back, maybe we can talk about that. You see, it's a very important topic too. But the human form of life can be guided by the Vedic teachings and by the true spiritual master to live every day in a way that will make it so I'm getting closer and closer to the real goal. Get off the wheel of birth and death. Don't take another human birth or animal or plant, whatever. Take a birth in the spiritual world, in a spiritual body, spiritual form, which is eternal, not temporary. There's no birth and death in the spiritual world. There's no old age and disease in the spiritual world. There's no anxiety in the spiritual world. That's why it's called the Vaikuntha world. Vaikuntha means no anxiety. This is our natural home. This is where we belong. But we're trying to make that here. We're trying to arrange things and adjust things and create things and invent things to make it so we can have no anxiety and no fear and no da-da-da-da. Here, it's impossible. You can't do it. You're in a temporary material body, an eternal soul in a temporary body. That's a contradiction right there. It's never going to work. See, you feel your eternality, but you're stuck in a temporary situation, which you know is going to bring you to a very, very big event called death. It's a contradiction. You're always struggling with that one. See, you can't be comfortable with it because it's not a comfortable situation. Spiritual world, you're not plagued by that. There's no death. There's no birth. There's no anxiety. There's no old age. There's no disease. And there's no negative anything. There's only one law in the spiritual world. In the material world, there's unlimited laws of material nature. There's unlimited social laws, and on it goes. I mean, laws. It means if you violate the law, there will be some repercussion. Laws of nature, you never go unnoticed. You can't not get caught. Social laws, well, that's what every criminal is trying to do, you see. But in the spiritual world, there's only one law, and that's the law of love. That's the only law. And that controls everything. But it's pure love. It's not perverted reflections of love. It's not lust. It's not self-serving love like we know in this world. It's eternal, pure, ever-existing love that takes the soul to the highest level of what is called Ananda. We don't even know what Ananda is in the material world. It doesn't exist. In the spiritual world, the happiness of the soul is Ananda, spiritual bliss. This is completely different than anything we have any concept of. But that's the normal situation in the spiritual world. That's where we belong. That's why everything here seems not quite perfect, because it isn't. See? And I'm not quite fully satisfied because we're not. We can't be. So if we know there's no possibility of achieving what I'm trying to achieve here, why not change direction and work toward being able to take our next residence where it actually is? And I can have everything I want, but in a way that's far beyond my wildest dreams. It's so far beyond what I could even imagine that we couldn't even begin to talk about it. See, why not? Because we're still covered in ignorance. We're still addicted to this world. We're still trying to stay here and be God and adjust things according to how we want it. You see, this is why. It's not that the message has been here in the material creation since the material creation began. This message was present at the very, very beginning of the creation. It's been passed down through perfect teachers of the truth since that time. It's not that it's not here. It's not that we don't want to know about it. We're not interested in it. We're so covered up in our trying to make this world perfect and be the one who achieves this and does that, and on it goes. See, be the number one, that we're not even interested. Change direction in life? Are you kidding me? Why? See? Oh, yeah, I'll change from this material direction to this material direction. I'll get a new job. I'll get a new wife. I'll get a new husband. Get a new girlfriend. I'll change banks. I'll have another stock investment. Whatever. I'll go on another diet. Lose a little more weight. New Year's resolutions, what are they? Basically all material hopes, which never kept. See, it's just a resolution. What are rules to be made for? Breaking the rules. See, I'm going to do this year. Never happens. Why don't we make a New Year's resolution? I'm going to pursue spiritual life full on. I'm going to get into it. Because there's no future in all this other stuff except another birth, disease, old age, and death. Stopover in another body somewhere. And who even knows where that will be? You see? There's no future there. That's good for the soul. There's a future, but it's not good for the soul. Why not recognize I'm spirit soul? I'm going to work on my future. See, what will make me happy? And it's unique because as I begin to make a little progress, real progress in life, not this junk we call progress, but real progress. I become concerned about other people's well-being too. I become concerned about the spiritual well-being of my husband or my wife or my children or my friends or people I don't even know, society in general. I'm concerned. The lower forms of life. I'm concerned about the animals and not just the ones that are in my house as my pet. I'm concerned about all those who are being slaughtered every day just to satisfy the tongues of people who have no idea. You see? I'm concerned about the well-being of all the living entities. This comes automatically with spiritual advancement. You see, automatically. Because now I'm entering the world of love for all living entities. Not the self-serving love that we know, just the lust that, oh, I love you and I hate you and I get this from you and I don't get from you, so get out of my life and I'll kill you and I'll embrace you and all that. That's nothing to do with love. It's zero. You see. Anyway, these are some things that we need to know about life and about death. Death is just a transition from one station to the next. It's fearful if you don't know about it. It's an unknown factor that's going to happen. See, there's nothing you can do to stop it. See, it's going to come. See, so rather than trying to waste our life trying not to die, why don't we not waste, that's a crazy statement. Instead of wasting our life trying not to die, why don't we use our life properly to be prepared for that inevitable time when it comes? And when I leave my body, I'm totally okay with that and I'm prepared. I've done what I needed to do, so now I'm free of karma. My material desires have become transferred or purified, and now I have spiritual desires, and material attachments, have diminished, and now I have a strong spiritual attachment. See, still desire, still attachment, and there's still activity. See, nothing's changed there because that's not going to change. But now it's been purified by the lifestyle of Bhakti Yoga. It's all there. The guideline is there. The scriptures are there to help us. The spiritual master is there. Everything is there. Except one thing, our desire. If we want to do it, it's there. If we don't want to do it, we don't. It's just that simple. That's the reality. So that's the big picture. The details we have to apply. We have to learn, we have to apply. And the one thing that we can do above all other things to enter into this new life is chant these mantras. These mantras are magic. They have power. They have invisible potency that you will never find anywhere else. It doesn't exist other place. The potency of the mantras is the number one purifying agent. You see, that's why it's the main activity in Bhakti Yoga. See, on the absolute scale, all of these spiritual activities are equal. It's not like the mantras are stronger than something else in the absolute realm. But for us in our conditioned state, what is going to be the easiest for us to perform and the most effective in bringing about these desired results is the mantras. Mantra meditation. Add it to your life. If you're going to make a resolution for next year, why not? Say, every morning I'm going to get up and I'm going to do my mantra meditation. I'm going to do my Garanga meditation. Maybe you'd like to learn, another meditation called Japa meditation, chanting on beads. Every day you get up, you chant mantras on beads. You see, you attend kirtans. You seek out where people are gathering and chanting, these mantras under the guidance of a bona fide teacher. And you make that your business because now that's your desire, you see. And there you'll find a new life and a really new year. See? So that's what we're hoping for everybody, to have a happy new year.